How's it going, guys? And welcome to the showdown between the Vampire Counts led by the Strigoi Haggard King on foot and the High Elves who are going to be led by a Princess atop her mighty Star Dragon. So let's jump right into this match, guys, and have some fun. Now the tail of the tape for the Vampire Counts. As you guys probably saw, I'm going to be going with a full ghoul build. So my entire front line, and yes, I know this probably isn't optimal against the High Elves, but I just wanted to have a little bit of fun and kind of bring in a bit of a different build. So in the front line, I have all Crypt Ghouls, which obviously will lose the most high elf infantry. I feel like they'll trade effectively with like Spearmen and maybe do okay against White Lions, but against anything higher like Swordmasters and Phoenix Guard, they have horrid AP. So 40 weapon strength, obviously pretty good, but you can see their armor piercing is only 4. So I'm really hoping my opponent doesn't have a ton of armor. And you know what? At the very least, we do have poison in the front line and a couple corpse cards supporting, so we'll see how that goes. In the secondary line, I do have a couple groups of Crypt Horrors to get some actual heavy AP, so yeah, the Crypt Ghouls hopefully will at least apply poison and then allow the Crypt Horrors to do the heavy lifting. So right here we do have a corpse cart with the Unholy Lodestone. You can see he's whipping these dead corpses. Definitely some efficient stuff here. He's got an Unholy Lodestone for healing and also the Vigor Mortis, which is going to give 5 melee attack and 5 melee defense, which is going to make these Crypt Horrors quite a bit better. You know, it looks like they're at 35 and 29 right now. On top of that, we have another Unholy Lodestone on the far side, so I wanted to make sure my entire line of Crypt Ghouls and Crypt Horrors was going to be getting this buff. So I do have 2 of those, and you know, after recent changes, they're dirt cheap to bring. So I figured, hey, let's give it a try and see how it goes. On top of that, we're you guys have seen enough Terrorgeist action, so I figured it was time to break the Strigoi Ghoul King on foot. And honestly, he's not terrible. He has pretty good armor piercing values, good duelist abilities. And considering, you know, I was facing the High Elves and they're very heavily armored, I actually brought Soulblight. So I was hoping the negative 30 armor would make those Crypt Ghouls a little bit more effective. So aside from that, he just has the command of the Unliving to summon some Crypt Horrors and also the Invocation of Nehek. Probably should have brought Spirit Leech, but we'll see how it goes. Also, we have some more mutated flying pups here. We got the Devils of Svarthofen, and on top of that, I think we just have another group of regular Vargeists. So, yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to do, honestly. I mean, maybe chasing down some light infantry or archers in the back line, but I don't know. I feel like none of the ghoul units are that great against the High Elves, but yeah, we'll see how it goes, I guess, huh? Over here, we have 2 groups of Fellbats just to troll and kind of occupy Skirmisher Cav and archers and things like that, and, you know, hopefully they pay their dues. So for my opponent, definitely a pretty scary army. 2 groups of Valyrian Reavers to poke down my lightly armored targets, which is pretty much my entire army. He also has a Princess on a Star Dragon, a Phoenix right here. I like the Phoenix. I feel like Phoenixes, especially in like Death Star matchups against Vampire Blobs, it's going to be pretty good. You get the AP, obviously, I think 360 AP. But more importantly, you get the Blizzard Aura, which is going to lower armor piercing damage, which then makes your armored high elf units more effective, and also gets the negative 9 melee attack. For the rest of his army, he does have a couple groups of Phoenix Guard here. I think in total he has 2 groups of those. Lothern Sea Guard here, going to be very solid. You know, really high melee defense, charge defense. So if the Crypt Horrors do get through or summon some Crypt Horrors in the back line, they'll be pretty strong. But what I should probably do here is summon some Crypt Ghouls on top of them, because their bonus first large won't be terribly helpful. We do also have a Lore Master of Hoeth for my opponent, Earthblood, Melkos, and Spirit Leech. Pretty standard competitive stuff. And that's going to be it. So without further ado, guys, let's have some fun. So you can see my Fellbats are going to be circling back in right here. I think I used them to chase the Illyrian Reavers, because you can see my opponent's already having a field day, just kind of shooting in at my Crypt Horrors, and the Princess, of course, is the ranged variant. So I think he's going to turn around and get some Star Dragon breath. So here it comes, some roasted Crypt Ghouls in the morning. You can see they're definitely not going to have a good time here. And yeah, not the most damage, because when units are moving, the breath attacks don't do quite as much, because obviously it just kind of stays in that one place, but still some decent value. And of course, the Lothern Sea Guard are going to tear apart Crypt Ghouls. That's basically what they're designed to shoot down. So I get my Fellbats here, and I just land them on the 2 groups of the Lothern Sea Guard. And, you know, at this point, I was like, you know, I'm going to see how these Vargeists do. I don't use them terribly often, but I wanted to see if, you know, with the support of Invocation of Nehek, maybe I could swarm in here and fight. So you can see just all these haggard bat creatures just battling the dragons. And that actually looks kind of cool. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But it's definitely going to be harder with the Phoenix here, who's going to provide the, you know, melee attack debuff, putting them down to 44 on the Devils, who are obviously known for their, you know, high melee attack. So we're getting some good damage on the Princess. I would say this is probably a worthwhile trade at this point, and it looks like there's going to be some Foul Witchcraft going down, the Soul Blight, so lowering the Princess's armor down to 50, and then also getting the Invocation of Nehek. So trade isn't going badly here. In the front line, like I said, Fellbats just kind of swarming, and you can see the Ghoul Hordes are coming, led by this Strigoi Ghoul King. Just look at him just charging, and these units are so ridiculous. So this is going to be pretty terrible in terms of like getting through the armor here. So my troops charge in, you can see the Crypt Horrors coming in and leafing, and yeah, they look pretty cool in their initial charge, but these are all halberds. And the Crypt Ghouls I don't think are going to provide much buffering since they're just so squishy, but definitely looks really cool. So despite the very flashy leap in right there, you can see not much damage going down on those guys, but we'll see how it goes. So over here, this is definitely the most important aspect of the battle for me. The Princess has taken a lot of damage, but one of my Vargeist groups, the Devils, you know, my Regiment of Renown, who are very expensive, are almost 100% gone here, just getting trash canned very quickly. and also very well played by my opponent, grabbing these Illyrian Reaver archers and just swooping in, probably going to provide some overwatch here. The corpse guards are now shambling their way in, going to provide those nice juicy buffs. I'm keeping one group of the Cryptors in reserve, just trying to decide where to plug them in. You can see the Ghoul King's in a bit of a duel here, so he's going to be fighting against this Lore Master of Hoeth. When, no other factors taken into account, he'll definitely win, but he does get chopped right there. But well, yeah, we'll see how it goes. And it looks like there's some ghouls flying around, all kinds of good times. So I'm able to kind of fend off some of his archers here, so I swarmed them with some Crypt Ghouls and Cryptors and was able to push them off, which was very nice. And I also had the Feasters in the Dusk, so these guys are I always thought they were the Feasters in the Dawn for some reason, but they're going to be coming into the back and getting a decent little rear charge on the Lothern Sea Guard, which is going to be good because their armor is fairly low and Crypt Ghouls can definitely tear through them very quickly. But the big problem so far is you can see my opponent's Halberds, his Phoenix Guard, and just his main line is barely taking any damage, and the Strigoi Ghoul King, I think he's considered infantry sized. Yeah, let's see. Well, he's definitely not as big as the Crypt Hordes, but yeah, we'll go ahead and check him a little bit. Yeah, we're fighting here. You can see the Strigoi Ghoul King's laying a good smacking on this Lore Master of Hoeth right here, but he is going to counterplay with the Earthblood, which is going to make those halberds so much more effective. But still, we're able to kind of collapse the formation here. Like I said, the Crypt Ghouls are going to trade very effectively with spears. You can see these angry golems. I feel like that's what we should call them from now on, the little angry golem creatures. They definitely look like Golem. Yeah, so they're fighting in here, doing well against the spears, and the High Elves holding valiantly, but, the poison and high, low armor piercing DPS is obviously going to do a lot against these type of troops. So, spearmen are shaken. The fear of the Crypt Ghouls is definitely going to wear through them, and hopefully I'll be able to break this formation. Like I said, though, in the center, it's a little bit tougher, and I did lose, pretty much all my air investment, so I think I have some, Vargheists over here just fighting this Phoenix, but they took so much damage from the Princess, obviously Star Dragons being one of the more powerful flying units in the game. So he gets back up in the air, and basically just a very desperate, even fight. Balance of power is in my opponent's favor a little bit, but we have pushed down some of the flanks here, and over here it's actually not going so good. The Feasters in the Dusk did get in here, but the Illyrian Reaver archers, I think, did get a really good charge, and should be able to fend these guys off with the help of the spearmen. Illyrian Reaver archers, as I've said, in a multitude of casts are very, very powerful in melee. So the fight, the Feasters are doing their best here. They're up to actually 59 kills, so I think they were able to do some pretty good damage, especially considering it's like a 2v1 situation, and they did shatter off these Lothern Sea Guard, which is going to be great. A really good breath attack from my opponent coming down does do some pretty good damage to my corpse guard, but the Strigoi Ghoul King is he's just pimping it on the ground here. He's probably doing most of the AP damage. And the Cryptors, with the support of the Ghouls, are also doing an okay job, so very, very even fight. I would say too close to call, but the problem being is this very healthy group of Phoenix Guards. 65 models here, and my summoned Crypt Ghouls, I summoned a group here to just kind of chase and help out the Feasters on the far side. But I don't know if we're going to be able to get down these Phoenix Guard. I don't have Fate of Buna or Spirit Leech. Even a Spirit Leech would be good. And, of course, there's still this massive dragon to deal with. So the dragon did take some damage from the Vargheists, but at the end of the day, that was a much better trade for my opponent. But the Corpse Guard in here is going to be pushing in, providing some support. But now that pretty much all of my Crypt Ghouls are gone, you can see there's a small pocket of them right here. I think in total there's 39. I don't really have much of a buffer, and now the Cryptors, for the first time in the battle, are starting to take quite a bit of the, just straight anti-large damage. And of course the dragon in here is doing some pretty good work and just roasting some troops. And my angry golems here are going to be chasing down these Illyrian Reavers and trying their best to just screen them out, because they are a summoned unit. They're going to disappear anyway, so we'll see if they can get close. It looks like they're just being strung along here. My other group, though, my Crypt Ghouls down here, were able to actually catch these Illyrian Reaver archers, which is going to put their speed down to 69. That's what she said. And yeah, they're doing some considerable damage. Definitely having quite a bit of fun with these Cryptors. And if I've discovered anything in this game, it's kind of like, I feel like Crypt Ghouls could be a decent utility unit, just to mix in one or two. So if your opponent just spams Spearmen, or there's a really pitched battle in which you want to apply poison to a pertinent target, it could be pretty good. Well, the Strigoi Ghoul King is definitely no match for a dragon. I think he is weak to fire as well. So does this Star Dragon do fire damage yet? Though? So that's going to just be an absolute monster mashing. You can see the last of the Crypt Ghouls. The Crypt Horrors here just going to be pushing in, and it's actually not going terribly aside from the leadership, because I just don't have anything to work down this princess here. But yeah, most of my guys are going to be crumbling at this point. So very well played to my opponent. Hopefully you guys enjoyed a bit of a experimental Mimi build, just thematic, going full Crypt Ghouls and things like that. But it was pretty cool to explore some of the effectiveness of those unused units, like seeing the Devils and the regular Crypt or what are those things called, Vargheists. I just think it's not a matchup in which the mass Ghoul strategy would work. If I were to think of I think this build would be very good against Beastmen. These guys would trade well with most of the infantry. Bestigor herds get crushed by Crypt Horrors. The Vargheists can do a lot against light armor. So I think this would be a really fun build to try out against the Beastmen, and I definitely will. But the armor of the High Elves and just their monstrous units, without bringing Terrorgeist and traditional anti-large options for the Vampire counts, I think it was a little bit too hard. But very well played to my opponent, Chromo Sumo, definitely cool. I look forward to running into you again on ladder, and hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing the Strigoi Ghoul King in action. Have an excellent night, guys, and take care.